you, Jennifer. What a beautiful musical presentation. Give her another round of applause. Stand up, yell, yay, wonderful awesomeness. And good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so honored to be with you. And rather than doing meditation after the message, let's do a meditation now, if you will. Get comfortable however you feel that. I like to, excuse me, Jennifer, I guess I should have said something ahead of time. Get centered. I like to feel the energy of the earth coming up into the bottom of my feet and all through my body, those healing ions and electrons, the wonderful blessing that we have to be on planet Earth in this day, in these bodies right now. And as we breathe and guide through, feel free to go wherever you would like in your mind, whatever blessings you would like to bestow upon others. But do remember that you are spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious. You are spirit. It is our gift. We all have this indwelling Christ, God stuff, whatever you would like to call it, within us. And these moments that we give ourselves of quietude and light and re-energizing all parts of our body, and then being able to be that light to send it out to others, is a huge, delightful, powerful gift that we are given. So we think about our breathing, taking some deep breaths, holding as long as you're comfortable, and letting go. Breathing and letting go. Seeing that bright light that you are. Knowing that your life has purpose and meaning. Your path in this lifetime is perfect. It is important. It touches others, lights the way. It smiles out from you with energy and love. And if and when we forget this, if and when we're not feeling it, we can just quiet and turn within for a breath or two, a moment or two. And longer. So now we breathe and go deeper into a time of silence, quietude, feeling that energy, that light, that love, sending it out. It is an inexhaustible supply. And you are a purveyor of light and love in the silence and always of now. And we are grateful for this time of quiet, for this time of inner knowing, for this reminder that this practice of ours, quietude and meditation, is always with us. It's a gift. And we use it, and we give it, and we receive it. We send out that light to our world, to our country, to our dear ones, to all. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, all that is, and so it is.
Everyone, repeat after me. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. Can you sing that? I am empowered, strong, and full of life. And I know it's so, and I know it's so, so it is, so it is. Amen, amen. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. And I know it's so, and I know it's so, and so it is, and so it is. I know it's so, I know it's so, and so it is, and so it is. I know it's so, I know it's so, and so it is, so it is. Amen, amen.
So grateful for you, Jennifer. What a blessing you are walking in this world and sitting at the piano. Yeah, let's give her another round of applause. Come on. It's good energy to clap, you know, gets the fluids running or something. I don't know. So grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I do want to mention, there's an ad involved in this, so we'll start with the ad. The UMass retreat, which is in September, and it's at Lake Junaluska, September 16th to the 19th. Where you can find out more about it at ummas.org. The Unity Ministers of the Mid-Atlantic States. Some of you have been to these retreats before. If you raise your hand, if you've ever been to one, you can ask folks how wonderful it was. And every year someone says, well, it's just for Unity Ministers, isn't it? And I go, no, it's for everybody. We just are the ones that generate it and put it on and give workshops. Some amazing speakers. I won't go into the whole list, but you can go to umass.org. And here is the title, because I love this whole envisioning, and Reverend Danny and Reverend Mike were coming up with this kaleidoscope idea. Sacred Kaleidoscope. Shifting perspective to experience infinite possibilities. Isn't that a wow? Yeah, shifting perspective to experience infinite possibilities. Picture kaleidoscope, one turn, and everything changes. So that's what they're offering this year, and I'm part of that team. I've had an interesting week, and I had been doing some decluttering at home, which always feels great, right? Moving stuff around, even going into closets. Like, oh, wow, closets, you know? And I thought I had this one closet pretty cleaned out, and I looked, and there were some tote bags, cloth tote bags that I've picked up over the years. And do you tend to hang on to them too? Seeing yeses. because they're pretty and you never know when you're going to need one, even if you've got 20 of them. Well, I didn't have 20, but I had a couple, and I thought, well, this one I was going to keep. And then there was this bright red one. And I thought, okay, I can take this to Goodwill. Someone will love it because it was from a conference for children's literature at the University of Georgia. And if you're familiar with UGA, everything is red and black, and there was a lot of red on this tote bag. I said, okay, I will bring it next time I come. Because guess what? To get to the ending, it never went to Goodwill. Why? Because I was digging through it, and I was cleaning it out, and I kept wanting to hang on to it. And I said, no, you've made up your mind. You're going to give this away. And there's one more thing in there. So I reached down into it, and there was a little Unity booklet in it. Now, that's not real surprising for me because I have Unity stuff all over the house and a lot of the bigger booklets. This one is called The Healing Quality of Grief. And it's older, you can tell, because they don't publish too many of these little things anymore, and there's no date on it. It was written by Reverend Glenn Mosley, PhD, and he just made his transition about 3 years ago. Worked at many, many, many churches in New York. And did you ever meet him, Jennifer?
No, I never met him.
An awesome person. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to read this. I'm decluttering, right? So I just kind of opened it up, page 3. And I went, wow. I'm not going to read the whole thing on grieving, but that's the basic core of this. But this is the thing that just shined out at me. While it is both natural and important for the human heart to grieve when deprived of daily physical association with a loved one, it is important, too, to be reminded that the body is but the housing of the soul. I'm going to repeat that. The body is but the housing of the soul, the outer aspect of the responsive heart and mind that we really love. And then this. If several persons were assembled in the living room of a large house which had many rooms, and one of those persons left the room but promised not to leave the house, the rest of the group would not know which of the many rooms the person had entered, but would know only that the person was still in the great house with them. Oh, there's talks in the Bible and from different speakers about a house mansion with many rooms. Myrtle Fillmore had a lovely quote of, we're just walking into another room as we succeed through life. But we think about it that way. It was lovely to me. This is true, too, he says, of our experience in the passing of a loved one. There are many rooms in the great house of life. Our loved one enters a new experience, an experience which we can share only minimally. We cannot accurately evaluate their experience from our perspective. And we can think of that not just for our loved ones, but when we hear of things happening where people have passed, the tragedies that go on, the things that happen. It gave me ease, and I wasn't going to read it, actually. I kept thinking, because it's not what I had planned to talk about, and I'm not going to talk about grief for this time, all of it. So I said, okay, well, I'll just put it in the car, and, if I feel like it's the right thing, I'll bring it up. So what I also had found with my decluttering were some CDs, and I have a lot of CDs in the house, including Abraham Hicks CDs, because I was a subscriber for many years. I was getting, 2 a month or something. And this particular one, I had made a copy, and it had my own marker notes on it, of what was on it, a couple of things. And then it mentioned that it had a special little thing at the end that I liked. So I put it on in the car while I was driving up here. And two people were talking about loved ones passing. And then Esther Hicks said, in her role as Abraham, your transition, which is unity or new thought word for passing or dying, your transition is just stepping into another room. And I went, okay, I'll read the other thing too. Thank you. But that's something to think about when we are grieving for whatever we're grieving about. What I really planned to talk about today was that we are halfway through the year. I like celebrating halfway through the year because my birthday is June 30th. And so that's always fun. And I was born like a few minutes to midnight. And it's like, oh, this was all astronomically or something planned and it's some good energy. And I always loved it. And I always kind of counted on my birthday to be halfway through the year. And I even done New Year's things on my birthday, which you can do at any time during the year, right? You can do a little burning bowl and throw stuff into that. Never a friend's name, never an enemy's name, okay? What you want to get rid of. Or you can put a little white stone or make a list of what you'd like to see going forward. Halfway exactly through the year for 365 days, seeing it's not leap year, is 182.7 days, which is not actually my birthday. That's day 181, right? We need 182.7. So July 6th is about 187, so it was probably about July 3rd or so, which really is not important. We're halfway through the year. Our spiritual 12 powers, Unity teaches, many of you are familiar with it. The spiritual power for June is imagination, which I like to also claim because that's my month. And we can use the imagination power to think about how we would like to go forward in the next 6 months. Personal things, big things, new ways of thinking or doing, reinforcing the things we've already decided we would like to do or see or have in the 6 months to come. And as we do that, we can, again, write things down, use our imagination to picture what we would like to see. Just like we picture clouds changing in the sky, and we talk a lot about imagination and unity. So you should have gotten a handout, another unity thing, which showed up in my decluttering. I had a whole pad of these, and if you didn't get one, we'll get one to you. It says visualize it, focus on the future. And then the glasses or sunglasses, whatever they are, have cool little words all the way through them. Dreams, family, friends, family. We can go bigger than that. Travel, luxury, new camper, train trips, awesomeness, new partner, old partner, whatever partner, young partner, old partner, whatever. So you can use this if you like. And just spend some time. The thing is to give ourselves the gift of time to look at our feelings, our desires, and what do we want? What would you like to see in the next 6 months? And you could go beyond that. You could start doing for the following year too if you like. So I hope you find these useful. And if you didn't get one, we'll make sure that you have one. So imagination is for June. What is for July? Understanding, right? Yes. Spiritual understanding. That's why we have the other handout, because these 12 powers are on websites throughout unity.org, and this particular one is on unity.org/article/power understanding. I'm going to read this. If you would like to read it together, we can also do that. Notice that the first part of it explains what the spiritual power is all about. Understanding is the ability to know, to perceive, to apprehend. This is not like grabbing someone. This is like apprehending something, to go deeper, I would think. The disciple is Thomas, which is interesting because what was Thomas? What was the not very nice nickname for Thomas? Oh, doubting Thomas, you didn't believe that miracle was going to happen, did you? But we all, I think, have some of that in us. Do we not doubt ourselves sometimes, or the world, or something else, or a person? Thomas represents the ability to see beyond appearances to reality. So this, to me, means to see beyond appearances into divine reality, the truth of our being, which is that we are spiritual creators, beings, busy being and walking in this world. The corresponding color is gold. And down at Hillside International Truth Center in Atlanta, that Bishop Dr. Barbara King founded, bless her dear soul, they wore the color of the month the first week of every month. And they're all wearing gold there today from what I could see on some of their website things. The color is gold, and the location is the front of the brain, like the thinking part, which is interesting because imagination is just a little deeper in, right? How can we use our brain for understanding, for spiritual understanding going forward? To maybe, whatever that means to you, because there's no rote thing on any of this, what does that mean to you? To have a deeper spiritual understanding of your life, your experiences, people and things you connect with, perhaps the things that have happened in the past that we do sometimes carry around with us a bit. Spiritual understanding of new ways of looking at things that show up now or have shown up in the past. If you'd like, we can read this together. In this moment, I pause and call upon my spiritual gift of divine understanding for insights into my daily journey. If I'm not sure of the path to take, which decision to make, or what words to say, I allow spiritual understanding to guide my mind and my heart. I use the faculty of understanding to see beyond human appearances and into the light of truth. Understanding takes me to deeper levels of compassion, non-judgment, and connection to others. I perceive and am grateful for the gifts, joys, and the presence of the divine in every event or circumstance. I'm going to say that one again because that seems to me to have some real depth to it. I perceive and am grateful for the gifts, joys, and the presence of the divine in every event or circumstance. I believe that can be very helpful in these days and in our path forward into the rest of this year as we are walking in that light, in that righteousness, if you want to call it that. And the affirmation is, with spiritual understanding, I see myself and others with compassion. We, I think, can be more compassionate toward ourselves at many times. You know, do you ever judge yourself? Nobody here does. Okay, I do. You know, we do. You know, I could have, even the gentle judging, you know, I could have done that better, which isn't, you know, that's like a way to move yourself forward. But some of the stuff we hold on to, maybe from long ago, maybe from tomorrow. Let's try to use our own spiritual understanding and tell ourselves regularly and often, I'm spirit. I'm a bright light walking in this world. I think when we see that, I keep picturing like these bright lights coming out of all the tops of our heads as we walk in this world, but not just us, not just spiritual seekers, spiritual believers, prayers of any faith. Everybody has this light, and wow, talk about fireworks. It's better than fireworks. It just lights up the world. A lot less noisy, okay? And our furry friends won't hate it. Halftime. Again, UGA football comes to mind, but I'm not going to go there. But it's halftime. It's halftime in the year. And what were those fireworks all about a few days ago? As we set our intentions, as we think about that room, moving from one room into a different room for ourselves and for others, as we look at things on the news that hurt our hearts, it helped me this week to picture people that are going through extreme difficulties, wars, nature, huge disturbances. It helps me to think they are but they are walking into another room. What would you like to see in the months ahead? What would you like to see in the months ahead? What would you like to be in the months ahead? Some of you have this booklet. I know there's at least one or two out by the bookstore. Mornings with Myrtle, 28 Days of Prayer and Possibility, published by, guess who? Unity Booklets, Unity Worldwide Ministries. And there are quotes in here from Myrtle Fillmore, a dear friend of mine, a minister at another church, reminded me when a guest speaker comes in, like myself, remember to do a Fillmore quote, a Bible verse, and an affirmation. Okay. And I do that when I remember. So we got our affirmation in, and we got a Bible verse in. So here's a Fillmore quote, because it fits in with all of this. From Myrtle to you. Become the light. When the way seems dark, pray for spiritual illumination and guidance, and bring all your thought people, she called it. Now, I'm assuming that to her maybe meant friends or people you're thinking about, whether you know them personally or not. Bring all your thought people into the light. Now, they may already be in the light, but maybe we are not seeing them in the light. So we bring them in as we think about them. As you do that, you will become a radiant center of light, joy, and optimism. People will want to have you serve them. You will inspire success, for others will have confidence in you. Through understanding of spiritual laws, you have a potential gold mine to develop. Become the light. And here's a prayerful affirmation that Reverend Carolyn Warren, I'm going to get the name, Warren, she's from Sacramento, California. Reverend Carolyn Warnemadud, close enough. She calls it a prayer of light. So I have a few more things to talk about, but let's pause with this and breathe. As I breathe into the presence, I let go of all that keeps me from this here and now moment. I breathe again. Breathe. Experiencing myself resting in the illuminating light of spirit. From this place, I affirm that I am a radiating center of light, joy, and optimism. Like Myrtle mentioned, with spiritual discernment, I deeply understand that in every hour of darkness, the light is just one breath, one thought away. One breath, one thought away. My inner guidance leads me to others who desire joy and success in their lives and are drawn to me to seek and understand the truth that I live by. You draw people to you with your light. As I deepen my practice of spiritual laws, I become more fully recognizing that I am a spiritual being of light, experiencing life as a human being. We give thanks for guidance, light, joy, and the opportunity to serve others on their path. So I've been getting all these nudges to look at this little book, to look at imagination combined with spiritual understanding. I haven't done this yet for me to write down what I would really like to see this year. I should say think big on the top of it, right? Think big. Don't exclude things from your wish list because they seem impossible or not likely or improbable or I can't do that. Who knows what things can change in this spiritual life we lead? What can shift, like that kaleidoscope? What little turn can shift where paths open, opportunities show up, seeming difficulties washed away, resolved easily. And to see it everywhere we go, to consider everything that we touch, that we walk through, that we are, like a holy thing, like a miracle. I love to walk in parks. I try to walk outside almost every day when I can. And 3 days ago, it's the day before the 4th of July, I was in Southeast Clark Park, which doesn't have any body of water in it in Athens, but it's a lovely park and lots of space to walk. Over there are pickleball courts. Jennifer, they're in good shape now, but yeah, I know. They're very busy. They're probably wearing down that concrete already or whatever's on them. And over there are tennis courts. And then over there's a really large amount of land that you can walk around. I think it's 3/4 of a mile just to make one loop. And there are people out there with their dogs. And there's baseball fields and there are soccer fields. And I was walking and I just decided to really be here now and to be centered in all of this. And I noticed a wonderful group of Hispanic people playing soccer. And I speak Spanish, and I could communicate a little bit to a few people, but just to hear the wonderful voices and the families and the kiddos were watching. And I saw a couple guys that were skating, and it looked like brand new skates. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful present that is to give yourself some brand new skates. And there were another group of people doing some practice football because Athens, UGA, and just people walking their dogs. And then it started to drizzle. The sun was hot, but it started to drizzle. And there's a building in the center that almost feels like a little chapel, but it's not. It's actually where the restrooms are. But I'm walking around and the rain is starting a little bit, and I thought I could go back to the car, I could get my umbrella. Yeah, it'll be okay. And as I stood there, and I've seen them in this park before, not a person, but a thing, this beautiful rainbow seemed like it was coming up out of the ground, but I know they're not made that way, right? But it was coming up out of the ground over here, kind of faded, and it didn't have an arc. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. It's just kind of like our light shining up. And I got really engrossed in it, and I felt like this is why I'm here today. And as I watched, and a little more rain and more sun, and the top started to form. And then way above the building and beyond, it was enormous. Happy to show you a picture on my phone later if you'd like. It was enormous. Not super bright, not those really bright colors you get, but kind of beautifully muted. And I had a sudden impulse, guidance, urge to try to get right in the middle of that rainbow and stand under it. Now, that's not very logical because you can't just walk into a rainbow in most cases, unless it's in the store or something. But I just kept walking, and I'm like, I can find the middle of this. And I'm calling out to some people, did you see that rainbow? They go, yes, lady, we do. It's really big, isn't it? Yeah. So I finally kind of get where it looks like the middle's there, and it's still a little way out. And I just got the feeling, pray. Pray. And I stood there, and I prayed. I did all my prayers. I did my prayers for spiritual understanding, for wisdom, for imagination, for people I know and people I don't know, and for things in the news and for things beyond the news and things in the old news, and for all that beautiful diversity in that park. And I prayed. And one thing kept coming to me. Everything, Bronte, that you see, everything that's around you is a miracle. Everything is sacred. Every person, everything I'm thinking of, every step we take as we walk through life is sacred. It's a miracle. You are a miracle. You're sacred. You're holy. Everything is holy now. That might be your affirmation, your mantra for today. Not everything is holy tomorrow. Not everything was holy in my life, but everything is holy now. So then I texted Jennifer, and I said, you know that song, Everything is Holy Now? She said, I do know that song. I said, Jennifer, would you play that for us? She said, sure, I will. Feel free to sing along with some of it. Because Jennifer is a musical genius, and she knows every song I ever bring up, okay? So think of yourself walking in this world as she's singing it, as you want to sing in what the lines are, and just know everything is holy, even when it doesn't look like it, even when we're grieving, even when we're worried, even when we're scared, even when we're... It doesn't mean we can't make it better. It doesn't mean we can't send prayers and healing and light and love, but it does mean there's miracles and holiness in everything. Jennifer.
This song was chosen in the year 2000. It was written by Peter Mayer in 1999, a folk songwriter. But the Unity movement was so taken by this song, and so many of our folks in the Unity movement are in the folk world as well. And they all know Peter. Many of the prominent songwriters that come to Posse Fest know him. But everyone was so taken by this song that they named the songbook that year Holy Now. And I happened to be on the National Unity Music team that year and was able to help select the songs for the songbook and was able to vote for this as the title. When I was a girl each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything is holy now. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath, 'cause I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-downs. But now I walk with reverence, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That would be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Can you sing that with me? Everything is holy now. Sing it if you mean it. Everything is holy now. One more time. Everything is holy now.
Stand up and give her a round of applause, please. That was